Welcome to How to Sound Smart. I'm your host, Stella Green, and today's lesson about displaying and/or faking intelligence is memorize useless information. Because if you know so much about one stupid thing, then think how much you must know about important things. Of course, the answer is usually nothing, but it's all about appearances. To illustrate this concept, today I want to talk about one very specific aspect in the life of a very important man, Emperor Qin of China. Qin Shi Huang was the first emperor of China. He did a lot of very important things, but instead of any of that building an empire stuff, we're going to focus on his life's goal, not ever being not alive ever. Qin had an obsession with immortality. This drove him to do things like build the biggest tomb of any tomb ever, commission an army of 8,000 terracotta warriors, yes, he is that Emperor Qin of China, all right, and sacrifice all kinds of time and manpower and actual men in his search for, get this, the elixir of life. Now you see, Qin was from a time that was big on alchemy. And alchemy, for those of you who don't know, is what passed for chemistry before chemistry was invented. It focuses on the transformation of things into other things. For example, everyday items into gold. The holy grail of alchemy is to somehow create an elixir of life, a potion or pill that grants the user eternal life or eternal youth. And Qin was pretty sure he was the guy to commission the guys to find or create it. Who do you get to make you an elixir of life? Why, your court sorcerer, of course. Qin's was named Xu Fu, and my understanding is that he was at the top of his field. Now, what, you may ask, goes into an elixir of life? To which I say, I'll tell you. Then you may also ask, did any of them work? To which I say, well, that's a dumb question, because do you know any dead people? Of course they didn't work. But your question about ingredients is fair, and the answer actually contains the answer to your questions of efficacy. There was some debate as to what should go into an elixir of life, but everyone pretty much agreed it should include mercury. Like a lot of mercury, like pretty much exclusively mercury. Now, I personally could and did and have and will in the future go on about Taoist alchemy indefinitely, but today we're here to hear a story I titled Emperor Qin and Xu Fu's Quest for the Elixir of Life. Once upon a time, there was a truly batty emperor named Qin Shi Huang. Suspecting that death was really more of a suggestion than a rule, Qin Shi Huang spent far too much time trying to avoid it. The search for immortality is by definition a race against the clock, so time was of the essence. But, oh no, Qin was having a problem. Wouldn't you know it, all the doctors and alchemists he hired to synthesize an elixir of life kept failing and being murdered by him. Things were looking grim, but then inspiration struck. Qin remembered a conversation he had had with the famous and fictitious wizard, Anqi Sheng. This conversation had lasted 3 days and 3 nights, and Qin was pretty sure he hadn't imagined it. During their chat, the wizard had not only promised the emperor an elixir of life, but he even invited him to come pick it up from him at his home on Penglai Mountain. Penglai Mountain was, like the wizard who inhabited it, not real. In Chinese mythology, Penglai Mountain is said to be essentially paradise. It sounds great, but unfortunately, it is very, very imaginary. Never one to be daunted by or to understand reality, Qin decided it was time to head over to Penglai Mountain and pick up his elixir. He also decided that the best man for the job was his court sorcerer Xu Fu. But Xu Fu wouldn't be going alone, no. The emperor sent with him, for reasons that I just can't find anywhere, several thousand boys and girls, not men and women, mind you, just boys and girls of unspecified ages. The expedition was a lengthy one. Penglai Mountain was proving elusive, as imaginary things are wont to do, but no one really wanted to go back to the emperor and tell him that as things now stood, he was going to die someday. Luckily, they thought of an excuse that might keep Qin from executing any of them. The expedition of intrepid children and one sorcerer allowed a few years to pass before they came back with this little gem. There is a huge fish in the sea, so our ships can't reach Penglai Hill. Airtight. Shocker, this was a lie. But Qin to the rescue anyways. To his mind, a big fish seemed like a valid excuse for coming back late and empty-handed. And then, reminding me very much of an ancient Chinese Don Quixote, he went out armed to the teeth with bows plural and arrows and killed some big fish he found. With their excuse fish arrowed to death, Xu Fu and company were forced to head back out. On their second try, they again found no mythological mountains, but, depending on who you ask, they may or may not have found Japan, where they either settled or never returned to again. But who cares, because it's not like those are opposites. That concludes this episode of How to Sound Smart. Remember, memorize useless information so as to trick others into thinking you're better informed than you actually are. I've done my part by getting you your brain garbage, now go and share it with your friends. Once again, I am Stella Green, and this has been How to Sound Smart.